In this video, we'll explore the use of the checklist tool. Checklist tool can be a great resource for students in keeping them organized. It will help chunk out really large projects and break them down into smaller manageable tasks, just like we do in class. And it can also help, organize all of the things that they have due in the class and ensure that they are able to submit all of their learning tasks. So to get started, the first thing we have to do is add the checklist tool to our navbar. By default, at the time of the recording of this video, it is not built into the default navbar, so we need to add it quickly. So to do that, all we need to do is go up to, just kind of hover over the navbar, and these three dots will show up. Click there, and go to edit this navbar. Scroll down, and what you want to do is add a link. So we're going to click there, and it will load the really extensive list of all the different tools that are available in the VLE. Let's just search checklist, and there it is. Click the box beside it and click add. I'm going to move it so that it actually shows up for the students so that they're able to see it right off the bat. That'll push a few of these down, but that's okay. And press save and close. At that point, you'll now see the checklist tool within the navbar, and this is one that both you and students can see. Next, click on it, and what we're going to do is go to New Checklist. Now, there are two major ways that I can see using this. The first would be you can have a variety of different, you can have multiple checklists. So one way you could have a checklist for a really large project, one that's going to span over a month or longer, depending on whether you're elementary or secondary. So in this case, let's assume that we're doing a major inquiry project. So we're going to name the checklist. So this basically just names kind of the title of it. You can have a description about, for your students as well as for yourself, about what the checklist is, but in general, I'm going to leave that blank. And you have the ability to, whether you want the checklist when the student clicks on it to open a new window. I would actually leave that unchecked. I've done some testing with it, and it's a little glitchy by having it checked. It doesn't work in all devices. In this case, I would just leave it unchecked, and it seems to work a lot better across multiple devices. Press save. Okay, and that will bring you to this page. So now we're kind of in the editor for this checklist. And what you can do is you can add, obviously, a variety of items. That would be the actual checkable items. But because this is going to be one where I know I'm going to be doing this over the next month or so, I want to chunk out the actual inquiry project. And I can do that by creating categories. So my first category will be, let's say, research. And again, you can name this whatever you want. This could be like phase 1 or step 1 or whatever. I'm going to chunk out my my inquiry project out by sort of the steps of it by name. So research, again, you can have a description if you want. And then you can press save. That will bring you back to that original page. But I know I want to create a couple categories. So I'm going to press save and new, and it will just bring me back to this new category piece. So research, brainstorming, because I forgot that first. That's actually the first step. So I'm going to rearrange the order of that, and I'll show you how. Save and new, product. So what they actually, once they've come up with their inquiry, they've researched it, how are they going to present their understanding of their new knowledge. And in this case, let's assume there's a presentation as well. And those are sort of the 4 new things. Cancel that. So press save new, and now I have my my 4 things. As I said, I made a mistake though for the video. Research obviously is going to come after brainstorming. All you need to do is press reorder, and you're able to reorder them. So I want that to be 1 and that to be 2. Save, and it reorders it into the correct order. Now I just need to create my new item. So for each of the 4 categories for my students, I want a few checklist items in each about what they need to complete the entirety of the assignment. So in that case, I just go to new item. And it's asking, well, what category of those 4 that you just made do you want this to go through? I'm going to go in order. So in this case, brainstorm, and brainstorm multiple ideas for inquiry. I'm keeping this very vague. I'm not going to be as specific about a subject. So obviously you would be maybe a bit more specific about what type of inquiry and what type of questions. But for this case, we'll just leave it as it is. Press save. Okay, it shows up there. And then I want another item under brainstorm. And in this case, narrow down topics. Let's do 3. Again, you can do that save and new. So we'll just bring you back to the new item again. And finally, maybe conference with Mr. G about best inquiry topic. So those are my 3 major steps of brainstorming. And then save and new, and we're going to move on to research. Complete research. Obviously, I would have a description about what, in the actual assignment about what the research entails and how much and where to get it from. But in this case, these are simple checklist items that they just need to come back to. You could actually include, for any of these things, a detailed list about what research it would be, or if you have a handout about how to research or what to fill out, you can attach them all here. So you could go and actually upload it from your computer. You could link it to a particular, if you want them to submit their research, you could click on assignments and actually link it to a particular Dropbox where they have to, or assignment Dropbox, and actually have them, submit it there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have that, and I'd have a description or something along those lines. Press save and new. Go to product, submit final product. Again, same thing. I would link it maybe to an actual assignment Dropbox. So I would click on that link button, which is gives a quick links to all the other tools within the VLE. I'm going to go to assignments. There's my product one. Okay, and I'm going to press save and new. And finally, presentation. Prepare 5-minute summary presentation. And close. So in that case, you have all of these checklist items available, and when a student starts the project, they can start to go through it. Just to give you a look of what that looks like for a student, I'm going to go to class list, and I'm going to sign in as a student. There's the checklist icon. I think it just got pushed down. So they click on the checklist. Here's that inquiry project. Maybe there's another one for an essay they're also doing, but here's the one we just made, inquiry project. And they are able to go through and actually check these off. As the teacher, you aren't able to see what they've checked off. This is very much for the student to go through, but this can keep them maybe on task in that way. Now, the only other way that you could also use the checklist, the other big one that I've seen from a lot of students and as for a lot of teachers, is they make a checklist for important, summative tasks, especially for high school. Save that. And then they just create items. They don't go around in categories. You could do categories in terms of units, like major summative tasks for each unit. So each category just gets a unit title. But then they have a list of all of the things that are due in the course, whether it's completing discussions or assignments or those types of things within the VLE. They check it off so that they know, have they completed everything they need to, and it doesn't, it doesn't go a couple weeks where they realize that they actually haven't handed 2 or 3 things in, or they get the markup date and realize it's not where they want it to be because they haven't submitted 2 things. This has it all right there for them to see what have they completed, what have they not, and they have to actually consider whether they've completed it and check it off. But it's a great list of all of the key summative tasks for a course that way. So yeah, that's another way to use it. Lots of other ways as well, but that's kind of the ins and outs of the checklist